Grinning face.
Right
There,
here.
look at that grinning face. There he is, right on. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, and we're rocking today. We're in a I would say sanguine mood today. I don't never like the word malaise. If you remember the Jimmy Carter malaise speech, he never said the word malaise in it, but everybody liked to call it that. So I just I'm a little bit somber. I'm psyched about Mother's Day.
Yes.
But it's and it's great reason to get fat and eat and have a good time and everybody to smile and love their moms and right on moms. But we want to. My problem has been this, Joe.
Yeah.
I've been getting, hey Spartacus, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach today. I've been having people call me up saying, Mark, thank you for the thumbs up. Mark, you've been moaning and groaning and belly aching like nonstop, and for an old guy, you're really a belly acher. And Dr. V's doing pretty good belly aching himself. I'm going, okay. He said, so we don't mind hearing you belly ache a bit. We want you to give us tell us what you want to do about those belly aches. How do you do? You're going to take bromo seltzer? You're going to take Malox? What are you going to do? Let's hear what you have to say. Okay, I'm going to try to give it an approach that way, but let's explain where we are first before we go. We have taken the position, Dr. V and I, since December that we're looking at through almost June is when we were talking about, when we were going to start seeing these real signs of recession or stagflation or a real slowdown in the economy. Here we are at the beginning of May. People are going, oh, it's been taking so long. It isn't going to matter. It's not happening. The stock market's great. And I've been saying, and Joe will tell you this, stock market's meaningless. It's called 55 of the last 5 bear markets. And recessions, right. So it's always just blows off. People spend their money. Now you have computers that get as panicked as people get. So that just goes, I don't follow that. But what we're following is, if you look at it, where are the trade deals? You haven't seen any trade deals. The only one you've seen so far, maybe holding back on something for China tonight to open the market up big tomorrow. But the only thing you've really seen so far is like the trade deal with Britain, with England. And what's happened there? It's 10%. That's what the deal is for 100,000 cars coming in from Britain. Most of Britain's cars are Land Rovers. Land Rovers cost what, $70,000. If you add 10% on top of that, you've got $6,500 to $7,000. And that's what the minimum 10% is that we're dealing with. So for cars coming in from Britain, we could easily be seeing another $6,500 to $7,000 increase just from a basic 10% increase. That's already built in. You can't do anything about that. Right now, the ships aren't coming in from China. They're not coming in from anywhere else. What China's doing is they're smart. They know how to sell their stuff. They're now sending their ships out to other ports in Asia and trying to sell it in through there and hope it works its way into the United States from there. Who knows? They're going to try that kind of stuff. But the ports are starting to slow down. In Baltimore's port, I believe, you have car manufacturers, because Baltimore is big with car imports, the port, and they're just stockpiling the cars because they're not sure. Do they start selling them now? How's it going to apply to tariffs? And they're just sitting there. And then remember this: these like manufacturers like Toyota and Hyundai, who I'm sure have everybody's best interests at heart, but have said they're going to absorb whatever the tariffs are at the beginning. But this reminds me of like the airlines. You go online to get a ticket for the airlines, and it's real cheap, isn't it, Joe? But all of a sudden, if you want to get a seat where you can actually sit down, that costs a little bit of money. You want a seat that you can go to the bathroom? That costs a little bit of money. You want a seat to bring in and put your luggage in the luggage compartment? That costs money. You're going to start seeing that. It'll be, we'll give you real little tires, but if you pay a little bit more, we'll give you the regular tires that we normally gave you. So instead of raising retail price, you can easily see add-ons. I'm not talking about dealers. I'm talking about the manufacturers. You can easily see the manufacturers cutting down on a lot of stuff and then making you pay up for the additional, so they make that difference in their pocket. And also, there's a question is how long this is going to last. This 10% tariff is going to last in Britain for a long time. He made the deal, although nobody really knows all the specifics. That's done. So you've got that going on. And you sit back and you're hearing there's just layoffs. Not many, but some. Every company is waiting. Nobody's putting money in. They all say they're putting money in, Dr. V, but that's next year or the year after. They don't have to put that much in. You have some that had already started. A lot of these, if you look at a lot of these contracts and deals that are being offered to the Trump administration from other countries, they've already been done with Biden. Because, and it's not, I'm not getting on Trump about it. These guys are smart. It takes years to be able to make these kinds of deals. So they did it. Now they're going, wow, I can't, it doesn't help me to say I did it with Biden. I can now say I did it with Trump. I don't blame them. So they move it over to Trump, but we'll see if any of this stuff really happens and really comes to fruition. I don't know. Are you getting the comments there? I just never know. Okay.
Just Spartacus is
Good. I
chiming
just
in.
wanted to make sure I wasn't frozen because we talked about this today. We just said we just wanted to be upfront about this. So you've got that going on. Look at food. Have you looked at some of the prices when you go to the stores now? I went out and looked, forget the food. Let me forget that. I went out and looked for a new chair, a new office chair. Man, from like a couple of months ago, the prices are up a whole lot for a half decent office chair. And is it a setup? Maybe. Everybody's trying to make their money. Vlogs, we love you. Everybody's trying to make their money. So maybe they're just sticking that money in. But the difference for a really nice office chair, I don't want to give names, it's like $100 extra, $150 extra. That's a lot of bread on a $700, $800 chair, which is expensive in its own. So you look at this and you go, wow. And it's just starting to work its way in. So now we're going to come back to, okay, I've had it with all the moaning, Mark. I've had it with all the groaning. At least say once before you get into the things that you think we should do, you and Dr. V, that we think you should do to get out of this and deal with it. Before we start with that, we got to remind everybody, this is the Devo world. Everybody laughs, but this is reality. We are hearkening back to our past. Even Trump says it. De-evolution, Devo, great album, great music. Are we not men? But we are snails with little tails, with a great album of the week coming up. So that's where we are there. And this album of the week is just one of the greatest. So I'm sorry, this is after college, in fact. But we'll get Dr. V into it. So remember, so now we've gone backwards. So what's happening? What else is happening out there before we give these answers on what we think people should do, Dr. V? Let me show you. Where's the peace in the world? PEACE. Where's the peace in the world that Trump said he was going to bring in? Now he said he was just joking when he said he was going to bring peace to Ukraine and Gaza in a day. Well, it ain't happening in a day. Ukraine's still getting smashed. And nothing's happening good there to Ukraine. And Trump's just rolling over to Putin more and more and more. Vlad, please stop. Vlad doesn't care. Look at Gaza. It is crazy there. What's going on?
I mean, shouldn't Trump and his administration get some credit for India and Pakistan?
Well, wait a second. I was about to get to India, Pakistan.
All right.
You haven't seen India, Pakistan explode in years, have you? But now that Trump's president, remember how Trump said that if he was president, Putin wouldn't have invaded Ukraine? Doesn't he say that all the time? Well, how about this? When Biden was president, India and Pakistan weren't ready to have nuclear exchanges almost. But when Trump's president, it happens. And the reason is, and it really is, I'm happy you asked that, Dr. V, because of the breakup and the destruction of the American century and the whole breakup of the system where we had a major hand in keeping peace there, okay? We're not close with Pakistan anymore, but we still had a way of dealing with them. And India, it's like instead now what we're doing is we're lining up sides instead of trying to keep people together, which is what we used to do. That's all part of the problem. That's what Trump has done. It goes back to what we've talked about here. No allies, no friends. When you have no allies, you have no friends, nobody's going to listen. They do what they want until the big boys jump in and say stop. That's where it is. That's where we are now. Let's get into where we go, okay? I'm coming back. Thank you. I started to see all this stuff here. No,
A
no
lot of
Trump derangement,
comments.
you guys. You guys are coming in a little too late. You didn't hear our opening. Please hang with us, you the MAGA guys, because we love you. We love you. We're here to talk about, and I'm going to jump right into this now. We think, and we could be wrong, but we are convinced we're going to have a real recession or stagflation starting. You're going to start seeing it in June and then just start rolling into July. We're talking about today is what you got to do to prepare for this. We still have some time. Hopefully we're wrong, but you still have some time to prepare. It doesn't matter if you're MAGA. It doesn't matter if you're liberal, progressive, or middle of the road. We're talking to everybody. Anybody can get in trouble in a recession, in financial trouble, in a recession, or in a stagflationary era. I'm not an economist. Joe's not an economist, but man, we've lived through these, lots of them. We lived through the oil embargo all the way up, okay? The Vietnam War stuff all the way up. We've seen it. This is what happens. You got to start getting ready. Assume that we're going to have a bad economy. Assume that we're going to have an issue. What should you do now? This is what I think. And then Joe's going to give us a really interesting perspective because, as you know, Dr. V is the addiction specialist, in my eyes, the number one. But definitely, right, definitely, that's how I feel about it. Definitely number one guy who could talk about how this all comes and how we kind of put it all together and how we try to control ourselves and make sure we go okay. But let's go from here. I'm not telling you to not enjoy life, but let's start right now. Assume the economy is not going to be good. Assume interest rates are going to stay up. They have been so far, at least for mortgages and stuff. What do? The first thing you do is stop buying. Now, look, if you got a lot of money and you're a multi-zillionaire and you don't have debt or you have real little debt, fine. But if you are a regular person like we are, okay, you may not consider us regular. We sure have we think we are. We have a whole lot of friends who understand how our commentators we love feel and in the situations they're in. You got to start cutting back. Why? If you use your Visa card what is it, Memorial Day? Is that what comes first? Or that's coming right around the corner. You're paying 25% interest on your card if you're not up to date every month. Think about that. That means if you're paying $100, you're paying $25 on top of that $100. Wow. How are you ever going to catch up? Whoa, think about it. So as that goes on, if the economy starts getting worse, and prices keep going up a bit, and maybe you don't have the income you had any longer, or you maybe had two jobs and one of them gets cut off, or maybe a spouse or a partner you live with who you've been living on that income has been having that kind of a problem, and one of them loses it. You don't want to be in the position where you're so underwater with cash that you're going, wow, I shouldn't have gone to wherever I went a month ago and bought this stuff because now the economy's having a problem. I'm telling you, I see Joe looking at the comments. He's going to give me input because I'm not looking. I don't want to lose my train of thought. This is for every American. This is just an American citizen. This is what we're talking, me and Dr. V. This is what we're talking about here. First, give us some thumbs up, will you? We're really talking for everybody. We care. We love you. And let us know what you think of that. But we're looking at that because I'm going to jump into the mosh pit after Joe starts talking. Just an American citizen. Please subscribe. I'm not sure Joe's anymore. Dr. V, Joe Talks. Just look up Joe Volpicelli.
Dr. Joe Volpicelli. Just Google that.
Just look up Dr. Volpicelli. You'll see him everywhere. You'll see that beautiful mug everywhere.
Sign up for my Substack.
I
have 0 subscribers.
If we can find it. So here we are. So you're looking. So the first thing you got to start doing is you got to cut back or stop buying. Now, Joe's going to be talking. We're going to talk. I hate the word addiction. I try to use different words like, where you get enticed because the system brings you in and it's very hard. You've been brought up to just do certain things. Buy, do this, charge. Here's the ads. The ads are great. I love advertising. You guys watch advertising on TV? That's better than most of the TV stuff. That's better than most of the stuff online. Ads are great. I love ads. They suck you in. It's like 30 seconds or a minute. Boom. I want that. I want that. What a great ad. So you don't want to start looking because you're going to be getting inundated with Memorial Day stuff. Is the Amazon Day coming up, Joe? Is there Amazon sales day?
I don't do Amazon Day.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
know I just think it's around then. You got all that coming up. Don't do this, because when you do, it turns on that little thing up there, which Joe will talk about, that goes ding, 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 buy, buy, buy. And they know how to do it. You don't want that. Remember, if we're going into a bad economy, we think we are, this is our position. How do you get prepared to go into this bad economy? Any American who may have issues, okay? Stop with the credit cards. Don't get additional credit, and don't use additional credit. Number two, try not to use your house equity for anything except absolute emergencies. Look, what if the Congress decides to cut some type of Medicare in some ways? I'm no expert on it. Dr. V knows a whole lot more than I do. But then it leads to like closing of hospitals, or leads to closing of doctors. And suddenly people in remote areas, I mean, not remote, rural areas, have to get into an urban area, and it costs them so much more to get there, and they can't get there. What are we going to do then? Okay. And you don't have the money because you have used your credit card to buy whatever you bought. Then maybe your equity in your house can protect you. You can pull that money if you need it to get doctors, if you don't have insurance or Medicare, or your insurance doesn't cover you. But think about that. Don't use your home equity. Now, I'm going to sit back because Joe's heard this 100 times. He's going to start snoring. This is so important. On TV all the time, I am seeing these credit cards and say, get this credit card and use your home equity in your use from your house. It's easy. And everybody's grinning. You look at them, they smile more than Joe does. Everybody's just grinning. They're going crazy. Buy, buy. And you can get points by going to a hotel, and you can do this. Think about what's going on. We're going into a bad economy. I don't believe in this anyhow. But think of this itself, but use of this credit card. But think about it. You're going to take this credit card, you're going to go for a tan down at the local hotel in Florida, and you're going to throw this down and get points, and suddenly you owe money on your house. Understand what this is. It's a second mortgage. HELOCs, home equity loans, call them, there's different technical differences, okay? But a home equity loan, a HELOC, is basically, generally, a second mortgage on your house. If you start taking that money and you start using that money now for fun things, if the economy gets bad and it goes ding, 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 ding again, you buy, 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 and the economy gets bad again, you have lost your equity. How many years does it take to build up equity? If you want to buy a house, you're still going to put up money. That money will be gone. How long did it take you to build up the down payments? So now all of a sudden, I get crazy over housing, because you have to understand, a house is a home. A house is not something that you live in to make money in. You hope you do. Hopefully you do. But what's a house? It's your home. It's your family. It's where you watch TV. It's where you grow up. It's where you eat. It's where you have neighbors. It's where you have friends. It's something, that's what makes it worth something. That's why you're willing to pay the interest for that. You lose that, where are you going? To these apartments that we have talked about for so long, that are owned by the big corporations in the world, all the money, who are then going to suck you into their apartments. They're going to end up buying your house, and you're going to be paying more money for rent and have absolutely no equity, because you got sucked in, ding, 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 to buy with that credit card, to suck the home equity in your house. And remember something, Joe always tells me to say this, because I take things for granted. There's a difference between a credit card. Just remember, generally, okay, every state's different. There's a difference between a credit card and a credit card that your house is, it's secured by your house. If you get a regular credit card, they generally have to just sue you and get a judgment against you. It's called unsecured debt. That's why they charge you so much interest, okay? On the other hand, if they have your house, they assume that if you don't make the payments, they can take your house. That's how they are protected. So you have to look at this and be able to sit back and go, I can't let this happen. I can't start spending. We're going into a bad economy. If stagflation hits and interest rates stay up, which we think it's going to keep happening, we've been saying it for the last couple of years, have been right, at least the long-term interest rates, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you need that cash and you spent it on a credit card, on a home equity credit card. A home equity. Don't fall for those smiles. Look, I'm not saying anything's illegal. I'm not in any way implying that. Seems all above board. I assume it all is. Just don't go for it, because when you lose your house and the economy's tough, it's going to be horrible. Joe and I will talk to you in the comments, but we won't be able to help you then. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Joe, because Joe's going to explain something about where we are with that ding, ding, ding turn on all the time. Why that addiction, why that need that's so hard to curb. We don't call it addiction. But it just sucks you in. It makes you want to buy these ads. I love ads. They make you suck you. They make you want to buy. This is the guy who tells you how you can make sure you can at least tone it down so you don't spend like that. Go for it, Joe.
Now, thank you. I've been keeping track of the comments, and there's some people who still believe that we're not headed for a terrible inflation and bad
Hopefully
economy.
we're wrong.
And hopefully you're wrong, and we'll be
Right.
happy to come back in a month or 2 months or 6 months and say we were wrong. You know, the current administration did it correctly, and
Mhm.
the economy is in much better shape. But you hear our prediction now, and I sort of fear like it's like the man who fell out the 100-story window. He's at the 90th floor. Everything's okay. 80th floor. Everything's okay. 10th floor, everything's okay. I think we're at about the 50th floor right now, and we're falling. I say this not to put down the current administration, not to promote the Democrats or the Republicans, but just to say this is where we feel we are, and it's based on our experience. It's based on what we see in the economy, and so we're concerned. But Mark
How
raises
do
a
you get
good.
them to turn it off, Joe? How do you get them to beat these commercials? It's hard to
Yeah,
do. How do you get
exactly.
them to do
So
it,
I
Joe?
want to make a point about freedom. This channel is all about freedom and how your freedom is at risk right now because of the economy. And as things get tighter, it's going to be easier to borrow money to help pay bills. But the word addiction actually comes from addictare, which is a Roman term for people who borrowed money and weren't able to pay back their debts. And what happened is, if you couldn't pay your debt, you were sold basically as a slave to the person who owned your debt. And that's where addiction comes from. You're a slave to your debt. And what happens is, when you borrow money to pay a debt, you may temporarily feel good, but the bottom line is you're in worse shape than before you started, because not only do you still have to pay the bank or whoever lent you the money, but now you have to pay back with interest. So it doesn't really solve any problem. So you get deeper and deeper in debt. You lose your freedom more and more. And that's what this is all about. Is as the economy gets worse and people make it easy to solve your problem by using equity in your home, running up debit cards, credit cards, it's going to plunge you more and more in a desperate situation where you lose your freedom. And so that's what Mark has been helping to warn people about. Freedom is going to come from reserving your resources. So eventually, as the economy gets bad and we start to see that we're in a bad situation, the people who have cash are the people who are going to be able to be free to make intelligent decisions about what they want to do with their future. So don't give up your freedom. Hang on to your cash right now. And if we're wrong and the economy turns around, then we're happy to report that, and we'll give proper credit to the people who are responsible for that. But I'm very concerned right now that we're in a bad spiral. And this weekend, I had a chance to talk with my son-in-laws. So they're young professionals. One works at a university, the other works for an insurance company, and they're really scared right now. And I'm scared for them. I'm scared for my grandkids, because there's so much confusion in the economy right now that people don't know what's up or down. In the academic institutions, it's just a complete disaster that people aren't sure about funding. People aren't sure that if you already have a grant, if you're going to be able to get the money for that grant. And so the universities are backing off and hiring people. The people who have the jobs there are looking for other jobs. The graduate students are applying to other countries instead of staying in the United States. it's a really bad situation there. And in other businesses, again, people are really worried about what's happening right now, and is there any stability in the economy? And right now,
But Joe, but we
uh,
got to keep you understand where Joe rolls. We got to keep. I've got to keep him on the train here because he told me to stay organized. It's very hard for
okay,
me. We're talking about right now, though. You're totally correct, but making sure that people understand what you have been doing, that we have a problem, but how do they make sure that they don't fall into the problem? What you were like, something you were talking about. You're saying, well, like interest rates. I'm sorry, like loans or debt could be easy to get. Only now. You see, what happens as the economy gets tough is that suddenly they pull back on debt, the lenders, because they get nervous. They see that the defaults are starting to go up. They see that the problems are starting to happen. At that point, when you need that, when you need to get that leverage, they'll say, sorry, you should have come here 2 months ago when we had different standards and we're looking at it differently. That's why we're talking about this now. Like I said, if we're wrong, we're wrong. Right on. I've been wrong. I know I've circled the sun so many times. So's Joe, and almost blown off into it a couple times out of the spaceship. But I'm still here, and so's Joe. And just understand what's going on here. And that's where we're talking about. Be cool, because when you start giving it up, you're finished now. Like these guys, excuse me, you talk no tax on working overtime, price earnings rate. Hi, guys. Happy Mother's Day to you, Mike. We love you. Forget all this stuff about Trump and Biden. We talked about what we thought basically to give you an underlying thesis on where we are. We've always been that way. But our position is, and has always been, that we are both just American citizens. And if we don't say how we think you should get prepared for that which we think is happening as fellow citizens, then we're just schmoes. Okay. And if we're just going to sit here and go, well, we'll tell our progressive friends, or we'll tell our middle of the road friends, or we'll tell our professional friends, or even some of our MAGA friends who don't listen to me, but we'll tell them, mine don't, but they love, but we get along. I love them. But you have all that going on. We're sitting here saying, understand, we have no problem coming back here in 4 or 5 months and showing some humility if we blow it. God, humility is not my middle name, and it really kind of worries me with that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're really looking at the problems. But right now, what do you have to lose by listening to us? If you don't buy something now and you start paying down your debt a little and start paying less interest, if the economy's rocking in 4 or 5 months, you got the cash to buy what you want to buy, right? So it won't matter then. But the problem is, if you don't have the cash and the economy is hurting, you're finished, because you're not going to be able to get it unless your family or somebody or a friend can lend it to you or give it to you and help you out. And they may be in trouble. They may have issues. Who knows? So that's what we're talking about here. And that's why my addiction specialist, I'm going to bring him back in here in a bit, but you got to think about this. American consumers are taught from the day they're born. I meant to take your kids, hey, here's a gift, happy birthday at 1 year old and at 1 month old. And this, if you have the money to be able to do this and that and this, go to parties and have great times. That's what we're taught from the minute we're born as we grow up. The hard part is pulling on the seatbelt and going, hitting the brakes and going, just hang in here for a bit. Hang in. I got nothing to lose by not paying 25% interest on my Visa card. I've got nothing to lose by not pulling my equity that takes me years to be able to put down before I even get a loan, unless it's FHA. But for the others, unless I can get a loan, it's very tough. When you put down 10, 20% or whatever, that's a lot of money to put down on a $400,000 house. It's like 80 grand, right? Wow, 50, 500,000. That's 100 grand. I mean, that's a lot of money. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. So that's just a lot of money. And you sit there, and you go, I'm going to lose all that because I went down to the Keys and just had a good time. That's what I'm worried about, and that's what we have to start understanding. And remember this too. And Joe mentioned it. This is important. We've been saying this. I know I keep saying we've been saying it's enough. I know you keep seeing that ball part there and the ball part there, but it's all real. Color's real. Ain't much color, ain't much hair. But you don't turn a ship in one day. You don't turn a ship in 1 week. The American economy is gigantic. We were the hegemon in the world. So the Trump administration comes in and wants to turn the ship. And this is a massive turn with the tariffs and everything. It doesn't just go and go the other way like you're watching on Smokey and the Bandit and the guys make the moves and they're all over the place. It takes months and months for things to break up, for a supply chain to totally break up. It takes months for businesses to decide, what am I going to do? Can I keep my doors open? How do I prepare for bankruptcy if I can't keep my doors open? Should I talk to my lawyer? Should I talk to my accountant? What do I do? How do I get prepared? That's why we're saying you've got to get prepared now. I'm not calling a depression. We're not talking anything like that. But the problem that could really happen is, look at India, Pakistan. It's just this incredible hostility in the world. They just seem to be popping up in different places. Isn't there real issues still in Sudan? It just seems to be popping up in Haiti. It's been a problem for what, 30, 40 years, 50 years in Haiti. So there's just problems with violence all over the place, on top of the Gaza and Ukraine and everywhere else. And you sit there and you go, I got to get prepared for all this. And we as Americans, since we're now separating from the world, which are facts, America first, we say America worst, but it's America first, the theory and idea. We're separating from the world. When that happens, it's fissures. Fissures start cracking. It just happens. You drop an egg, it breaks. That's what's going on here. So you have to be prepared maybe for a black swan type of situation. You know what a black swan is, Joe, don't you? Black swan is, for anybody who doesn't know, most swans are white. Black swans are very unusual. So when a black swan economic event happens or a political event, it means it's super unusual. It's not good. Black swan was 9/11. Okay, that was a black swan event. You get black swan events. Okay, what was it? The big crash, what was it, 97? There were just certain black swan events that happened. And when it happens, it tilts it. Of course, what was it, 2006, 2000? Lehman went under. Bear Stearns is about to go under.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. 2007 and 8.
Yeah, and you had Lehman, you had Bear Stearns, Merrill Lynch. How big was Merrill Lynch? They were gigantic. They had to be bought by what, Chase or Bank of America, I think. So you sit there and you throw that on top of incredibly high default rates on cars right now. Very high default rates on cars right now. Very high default rates on credit cards. The all-time worst. They say they're big, but I think it's all relative. You never know. It's hard to compare. But the numbers are up there. It's just happening. And now you put the tariffs on top of it. You got to get prepared. You got to get prepared. I'm going to say it again. You got to get prepared. I'm happy you love President Trump. It doesn't matter to me. Baby strollers are going to cost a whole lot more. It is a debt bubble, C-Dub. Unemployment flower power is rising. I love it. Great comments in here. Well, I don't think it's going to be Great Depression too, Ben, and I hope not. We see it more of a stagflation, recession type thing. We're hoping it's not more than that, but it's not going to be good because we've been living good. Everybody's complaining, but life's been good. Look out the door. When you want a milkshake, can't you just call Uber and have them deliver it? Where else can you have that done? I won't do that. It's too easy. Oh, that sugar pack. God, I love them. I love milkshakes. Ireland for Trump. Okay, Johnny boy, that's good. Tigress, we're not talking hate. There's no hate here. We love everybody on here. We're not talking hate. We're talking America, just an American citizen. And please give us thumbs up. Whether you agree with us or not is fine. Our position is we're caring about everybody here. And we are talking a basically neutral position of we think everybody's got to look out for themselves. And we're giving you ideas on how to look out for yourself. Please go to Just an American Citizen, subscribe. Please look at Dr. Joe Volpicelli in YouTube and Substack and Evans and everywhere else. Just go right. You can see his face. He's all over the place. Legal Latinos. Okay, Tigress, we don't care. We're not talking about Trump. It's all, what's the Latinos? Are you Americans, guys, men and women? We don't care if you're Latino. We don't care if you're Greek. We don't care if you're black. We don't care if you're Jewish. We don't care if you're Muslim. We don't care if you're Indian. We don't care if you're Pakistani, Hindu, or whatever. We care about this Korean, Japanese. I don't leave anybody out there. Vietnamese. Gosh, there's so many nations. Chinese. We're just American citizens here, and we only care about our American citizens because we've been forced to be in this position by the administration who has cut us off from the rest of the world. It's just honestly what it is. So we are caring about everybody here. We may not agree with you. We may think you're wrong about Trump. We may think you are kind of out there sometimes. I'm not talking to everybody, just talking to individuals. I love crazy comments, but that doesn't mean we don't care about what happens to our country because we love our country. We love our country. I grew up singing the Star Spangled Banner, not saying, I'm sorry, singing the Pledge of Allegiance. We always sang, oh, the Star Spangled Banner. We all know it here in Baltimore. But I was always singing the Pledge of Allegiance. How many people do the song, the Pledge of Allegiance? Think about it. I love this country. Joe loves this country. Okay. Our grandparents, mine were great grandparents, came over and gave me the chance to be able to live in the greatest country in the world. I don't know if it was Joe's parents, grandparents, or great
My
grandparents, but
grandparents,
it's the
sure.
same type of a situation.
Yeah.
Gave him the chance and his family to be able to live at this great country, this incredibly great country. So we love our American friends here as commentators. And I talk from the heart about it. Once again, I may not agree with a whole lot of you, but I love you, even if I agree with you or don't disagree with you. Because, like, for instance, he thinks that Pink Floyd is a great rock group. And it's the only
Absolutely.
group I know that has to put an alarm clock on there to keep you up. Think about it. How can a rock album need an alarm clock to keep you up? It can't be rock. It's like
It's
Barry
rock.
Manilow. I mean,
It's
come
rock. It's
on.
rock.
First floor. I've had it. First floor of Fayette. No, we're not betas. I'm second floor. He's first floor. Okay. Here we go. Where are we here?
So
You
people
love America.
are saying that there really
What
is
are you
no
saying?
inflation. They're saying the inflation rate is down. So I don't know. We have to agree on certain statistics, and we have to have something that we can say, here's a fact that we
What
can
we're, what,
point
we're,
to.
what we're saying is this, Joe. There's lots of facts, but we're saying it takes a while because it's slowly turning. Facts. The LA ports are starting to lose a whole lot of business. That's a fact. Okay? Facts. Look at the prices of these chairs, these office chairs that are out there. Look at the prices of food. It's still going up. You go to the supermarket, it's still very expensive. Eggs across the United States are still incredibly expensive.
And
Gas is
people
still,
are going to say the price of gas is down.
no, it isn't. Gas is over $3. What is it? A couple pennies less than what it was? Wrong. What's happening here is that it's slowly turning and people don't see. It's just like interest rates. Has interest rates dropped? No. How come mortgage interest rates are still like 6.75 to 7? For a couple of years, it's been like this. I've been saying it. Everybody laughed at me, didn't they, Joe, when I said a couple of years ago it ain't going to change? It's because we're going through this big change, a cycle, and we're going through this big change, and you don't turn the biggest and greatest economy in the world in 4 months. It just takes a while, and that's what's going on. And because they have said they want to destroy the economy as they understand it, that's what Trump says. Nobody's arguing. That's what he says. So we're doing this. And it takes a while, and you're starting to see these different pieces of things starting to cost money. And why are the car manufacturers stockpiling cars in the Baltimore Harbor, Joe? Because they don't know what they're how am I going to do it with my money? What am I going to do with my cars? What am I going to do? And it's going to cost them money because they got to pay to store them. They got to pay to maintain they bought them. I'm sure they have debt themselves. So all this is just working its way down the line. And then when you got a little business, and remember, once again, this is what we said the other week, the people are going to get hurt. It's going to be small business. Not big business will have plenty of money. Joe said something earlier about this. Big business will have plenty, because let me tell you about this guy. He doesn't get crazy sometimes. He is a crazy man, okay? I just want you to know, Joe Volpicelli. Sometimes he just comes out with stuff and go, my gosh, what's going on? I know what he's thinking in there. But what we were talking about before, and he said this earlier. The big guys will get through it. If we have a really bad economy, the big guys will get through it. The problem's going to be the little guys. And if the small businesses get hurt, the small businesses are regular people. They're the people you go to for a restaurant down the street. They're the people you go to, maybe a small hardware store that's still around, or there ain't big, there's all big pharmacies now, but all these little stores that are all over the place, clothing stores and everything. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? And if they go out of business, they're the ones who get hurt. And of course, the big guys come in and take over. We care about the regular people. And those people are the MAGAs. Those people are the middle class, if we even have any left here. Those people are the union members. Those people are the people who are going to get it handed to them when this economy gets smashed. So what I'm saying is get prepared. Because if you're prepared, you take it on. And if the economy gets bad, and I'm right and Joe's right, you're set. If we're wrong, you're set, because then you'll have even more money that you didn't spend, and you can go out and spend it later because Trump's economy worked. Now, how perfect would that be? But we don't want to see you lose your house. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Don't want to put your house at jeopardy so that you can lose it. Don't want to see you have people coming after you. What are you going to do? I'm so worried. Joe, I got to take a breath. Go ahead, Joe. Say something, Joe.
Yeah, Mark's making some good points. I would just say to people, you have to look one step ahead. Just don't look at what's happening at this moment.
Right.
I anticipate what's going to happen. It was a Wayne Gretzky who said, "Why?" They asked him, "Why are you so great? Why do you have so many goals, so many assists?" And he says he doesn't aim his passes to where people are. He's aiming his passes to where they're going, where they're
It was a
going.
great
And
one. A
and
great
that's
one.
and that's what we're saying is not just where we are at this moment, but where we're headed. And you can see all the trends of where we're going. And let me just say that again, understanding addictions and the addiction economy really helps me to understand people's behavior in general. And when dealers want someone to get addicted to something, what do? They give you a taste of it. They make it easy for you. Here, I know you're addicted to opiates, but try a little bit of cocaine too. It'll help you not be, and then you wind up getting addicted to the cocaine. That's what's happening now. They're giving us a little taste how easy it is to borrow money. Here's a little credit card. You can buy whatever you want, no consequences,
And get points.
and get points. And what's going to happen over time? You're stuck, you're trapped, you lose your freedom. That's what we're talking about here. Look ahead. Sorry, losing my voice.
Drink your water while I talk for a sec. Joe's right on with that. Johnny boy, thank you. I love all these guys. Only Planes, I'm starting to see some of this stuff coming down here. William, for you calling us a garbage channel, you're here a whole lot. We like you, William, but don't at least give us a thumbs up if you're going to call us names. I mean, hey, man, I'm with you. It's really tough here. Maverick, kind of, yeah. We're not we don't see America succeed. You haven't listened to what Joe and I said, C Unit. What is the name of this channel? Just an American Citizen, because it's our country. Our country. We accept our country when it's bad, and we accept our country when it's great. And most of the time, it's great. And talking about getting ready for a bad economy is nothing bad. Excuse me. In fact, how often do we have it? It cycles. The economy goes up, the economy goes down. You see it in history, right? You may push it and make it easier for the economy to go down, but it's going to happen eventually. That's when it all starts happening. It's not hate. It's saying we care. It's the exact opposite. You see, everybody wants to talk hate. I hate that word. Ooh, I even used it. I dislike that word. I intensely dislike that word because I really don't know anybody I hate in my life. There are people I really disliked. There was one guy I was really close to hating, but I never really hated him. I got even with him, so I didn't have to hate him. So it's the type of thing that stop. We're really trying to reach out to our commentators, to our community here. We love our community. I don't know if you noticed, guys, a couple things. We're on every Wednesday at 5 in the evening. Please check us out there. And we do shorts off of this. And when your stuff gets mentioned, commentators, I put in there commentator right in the edit. So you guys get put up there. I appreciate what you're saying. You're important. Our community is so important. America is so important. But if we don't get ready, we got a problem. Yeah, Middle East Maverick, Trump's gone. I hope we don't have Trumpville slums, Ben. What I want to see is maybe some peace one day, maybe see some happiness. All we see is war everywhere. Since Trump has come in, all that's happened is wars got bigger. He was going to end everything in one day, but it's war, war, war. Where is the economy getting better? No, it isn't respected. America's hated, William. It's Nathan, that's not how it worked, Nathan. Wrong numbers, Nathan. It's up. It's been staying up 2-something%. We're in the threes, and that's been the problem. Prices getting out of hand. Sure, they are. America's a joke. About cartoons. It's nations PDF files to Alcatraz. Let me tell you. You know what's bad about Alcatraz? I think San Francisco makes millions of dollars a year in tourist fees. What do you want to put money into that thing? You're making money on it. I watch this. I go, okay, it's great. Everybody had a good time. You heard about Escape from Alcatraz and Trump watching the movie, right? You heard about that, right? He was up there talking and going, well, and nobody escapes from Alcatraz. But one guy tried and they found his clothes. Then you find out in the movie, Clint Eastwood tried to get out and they found his clothes. And it's like not true, but he watched it and he saw it. Okay. Sometimes I could just laugh. So it's like his picture is the Pope. So it's like I see this, but I'm going, but it doesn't make sense because this is income. That's not like Trump to say turn off the income. That's income coming into Alcatraz. Why do you want to put money into it when there's income coming into it? It doesn't make any sense. Let me tell you, start doing it. Your farms, hey, Only Plains, you're right about the farms. What are they doing for the farms? I keep hearing the Secretary of Agriculture, Joe Brooks, something. I'm not sure of her name. She talks a lot. They're all right at the cabinet meetings. President Trump, you're the man, you're the greatest. And they all do it, but I haven't seen them help our agriculture. I mean, understand this. He said, our beautiful beef, I think he used beautiful beef, on the deal with Britain is going to go there. But you know what the problem is? I bet you most people don't. They have their own standards on beef in Britain. Our beef doesn't meet those standards. So was there a change made in the standards? I haven't heard about any changes made in the standards, but we don't talk about that. We just say, there it's down to 10%. We're doing this and we're doing that. But if you're not going to change the standards to allow our beef in there, I think there's an issue about with chicken. I think they wash it with chlorine here, and it's not allowed there in Europe or in Britain. I'm no expert on all this, but so we can't sell it there. But our farmers are getting smashed. And the thing is, we can sit here and talk about it. And we've been talking about it, Joe and I, for the last 4 months. We started about the medicine cabinet in December. But we're not farmers. These farmers have been getting hurt. American farmers every day. And the longer this goes, the worse it is. Farmers are leveraged to the sky. A lot of farmers were doing improvements and were suddenly told the grant money wasn't coming and they got stuck. What are we going to do? Are we looking out for our farmers? Is it important we have food here in America? And we normally sold food to others. Like in Canada and stuff, nobody wants our food anymore. That's what's going on. So what's that? All that means is, whether you agree with what Trump did or not, is that it's shaking things up. It's cracking the supply chains. It's cracking the trade chains. That's all we're talking about here. You can agree with it or disagree with it. I disagree with it. I'm not speaking for Joe, but I think it's a bit obvious Joe disagrees with it.
Yeah, I mean, I hear people saying that, if you're growing crops United States, if you want to support the farmers, you want to make sure that there's fair trade so we can sell our stuff to other countries just like we import their stuff. So in principle, that makes good sense. It's just the way Trump is going about it. He's going about it in a very irrational, haphazard way that's not serving any purpose. That's the problem. But
One
I'm
slice.
I'm interested if people have ideas. I'd like to hear your ideas. We expressed our ideas, which is to look to the future, conserve your money, don't be a slave to these where they're giving you money and charging you interest. Don't be a slave to that because it only restricts your freedom. But we're interested to hear what your solutions are. I would be very interested to hear how you're going to solve the problems. And the idea of tariffs has some rational basis to it, but it can't be applied in an irrational way. It's the same thing with saving money by getting rid of people who are not functioning well, who are employees of the government. Yeah, you have to trim the fat, but you don't go in there and take a sledgehammer to something when you really need more of a watchman who can take apart the watch and put it back together, not just smash it.
But it doesn't matter anymore, Joe, because it's already been smashed. You see, we have to accept everybody. You see, it's so hard for, I use the words liberals, progressives, even MOR to understand it's smashed. To say you shouldn't do it, he did it. So now we have to deal with the results. And
Mm.
my point is, MAGA can say, I'm happy it's smashed. Okay? A liberal can say, I'm sick it's smashed. I say, I'm sick it's smashed. I've been saying it for years and seeing it coming. You have too. But that's not our point. Our point is, it's smashed. This is what Trump wanted. This is what's happening. What do we think are the results of that smash? And we have been saying what we think. And then we say, that's been the whole underlying part of this, okay? Is that how do we get prepared for this smash in the economy? If we're wrong, great. It doesn't hurt you what we suggest to do. It only helps you because even in good times, what do you want to pay 25% interest for? Wow, 25 cents on the dollar. Think about it. Isn't that incredible? Wow. And that's before paying whatever you bought, you pay tax on top of it. I mean, you're getting handled. So at a minimum, you're doing, why do you need Visa, MasterCard to make so much money on you? Look, if that's the way you get, there's some people are just stretched day to day to day. And we're afraid, Joe and I, that this economy is going to smash those people. It's just going to take those people apart because this is a Devo country now. We are de-evolving, going backwards, and people don't care about others anymore. We do. In fact, more care than people know, but we do. And that's the whole idea here. We're just saying, get ready, America. Get ready. We have been taking these positions. Everybody's been saying to us, quit moaning, tell us what to do. And we've been telling you. Nothing wrong with it. Cut back. Don't buy. In Memorial Day, buy some food. Maybe buy extra food to put it away. Get something and forget about it. Watch your TV. It's all going to go up. Don't pay more. You got your computer, you're online, you got your phone, watch it. Don't pump money into it. Look at your subscriptions. Get rid of a chunk of those prescriptions. Get your overhead down. No, I'm not Susie Orman. She looks a whole lot better than I do, and she's a whole lot smarter than I am. And I've always said I'm no economist, but this is just too obvious. If you're coming into a bad economy, which we believe, you've got to get prepared. And even if you get prepared for the bad economy, you're ready when the good economy is still there. Well, so what? You buy something 3 months later, 5 months later, but don't be misled. Don't be misled to think that because we haven't had a real smash yet, that's not going to happen. Remember, pieces come out. You always watch those games, Joe. I don't know the name of the games where people put like something on top of something else. You got to pull one out, and then you pull one out, and oh, it's moving,
Jenga
but
or
it doesn't
something?
fall.
Is it Jenga or something like that?
I don't know, something like that. And
Yeah.
you pull it, and then all of a sudden it goes down. We're getting there because we're pulling a little bit out there, and we're pulling a little bit out there, and that's what it likes, and that's what's happening. No, doctor, magic taco. You're a magic taco. Oh, okay. I happen to like tacos. I don't know about magic tacos. What do you think? 10 hot dogs? I don't know, Max. I think you may find that these hot dogs are going to go up in price and you ain't going to be too happy. You're going to be real happy. Ben, we're not talking about depression. The word depression hasn't come out of all of us. Recession,
Inflation.
stagflation. That's where we are, man. And it isn't just 100 days. He immediately destroyed the economy and he said he was going to do it, except what he said and what he did. Whether you like it, just because you love it doesn't mean it's good. He did it. I've never seen anybody move this fast. I've been around a lot of presidents. Max Power. Okay, Magic Taco's going again. Is that the name of a good taco place, Magic Taco? I don't know. Biden's first increased by, when Biden was in there, you want to start to happen. How about if we do this? During Trump's first term, hundreds of thousands of Americans died. They didn't during Biden's term. During Trump's first term, hundreds of thousands of Americans died. They didn't. So you want to start comparing? I'll take a gas price a couple percentage higher than hundreds of thousands of Americans died because of incompetence from the top of the government down. You see, so that's where we go. But I don't want to get into it because that's yesterday. He's today's president. We're dealing with our problems and issues now, okay? We're giving it now, and that's where we are. TDS, once again, Trump does what he does. We're accepting it. How's this deranged, True 3? Are you saying that Trump is not trying to destroy the economy? Are you saying Trump's not trying to tear out the deep state, quote unquote deep state, by getting rid of everybody? Are you saying Trump isn't trying to break up our allies and friends? Of course he is. If you say no, well, I want to hear it. Ben, I worry about it. No, there's nobody voting now, Ben. We're just talking about if it's a problem, you're going to roll with it and go. But let me do this. Everybody's worked up. I love when everybody gets worked up. Devo is the album, but we got to get into it now just to calm everybody down because you know how I feel. And please listen, don't hang up, guys, because this is the great stuff. When you've gone around the sun 70 plus years, like my buddy, like one of my best friends of all time, and I have, you do things, we can yell at each other, we can laugh at each other, we can have talk about things and do it, but we know our generation loved music. And man, why do you think it went on all those commercials? People bought stuff off those commercials because of our music. Think about it. It's all our fault, Joe. What album are we going to now? I got a friend who always loved Black Sabbath. We went to see years and years. I love Black Sabbath. We went to see Black Sabbath. And I always say to him, but Ozzy's great. Ozzy. Listen, Ozzy's great too. Ozzy. Suddenly he's starting to listen to Ozzy. So I don't know if he's on here, but right now, this is one of the greatest albums, Ozzy's Blizzard of Oz. Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. Look at Ozzy, young hair. Couldn't understand him then. Can't understand him now. But he was great. Listen to the music on here. He had Randy Rhoads as his guitarist. You know, Randy Rhoads in that plane crash. Incredible, Randy. Ozzy, I've seen Ozzy a couple times, saw Black Sabbath. Opens up with I Don't Know. Then Crazy Train. Everybody knows Crazy Train, right? Then Goodbye to Romance. The Suicide Solution. Who doesn't know Suicide Solution? Then Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley. Down, bow, bow, right? We get into that. No Bone Movies. Okay. Revelation, Mother or Steal Away the Night Another. Look. Incredible. What a group. What a singer. What a lunatic. But he's the man. He's Ozzy Osbourne, and he's lived life by his rules. Isn't that the way to do it, Joe?
Absolutely.
We hear everybody. We see all of our friends
Absolutely.
here, our commentators want to do this. This man lived life by his own rules, totally out of it. But I love him. And man, he was great in concert. And I say, I love Ozzy Osbourne. And the Blizzard of Oz is a great album. And this was after college, so I didn't have to hold it against level one that they didn't listen to this level one. We'll call you guys level one now. Either way, that's where we are. We're going to run because it's Mother's Day. We really appreciate seeing everybody. This is important, though. Please offer us to friends. Please subscribe to Just American Citizen. Give us more thumbs up. Dr. Joe Volpicelli, subscribe. Give us to your friends. Tell your friends about us. We're coming on Wednesday at 5 p.m. We care, man. You may not agree, but we care. We love our country. We love you. And that's just the way it is. And this has just been a great live stream. And we love Spartacus, Johnny Boy, and all of our friends. And I forget names. I apologize. All you guys, like Mike, all you guys who come on, thank you all so very much. Even William, thank you all so very much. We'll see you Wednesday at 5. Remember, if you're square, don't go there. And that's the way it is.
Period.
We'll see you guys. Happy Mother's Day. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Happy Mother's Day.